Right. So we have a brand new box here. It is the Arduino starter kit. Now, this is for beginners. So if you haven't gotten into Arduino and you wanted to check it out, this is a really good getting started box. It comes with an Arduino Uno. I think it's four or Rev 3. I can't remember. But we'll take a look. What is it? It comes with capacitors, resistors, temperature sensor, a few different sensors, LCD screen, stuff like that. And it comes with a book, right? So it tells you exactly how to do some of this stuff. So you see the list of things on the back there that it comes with. So it's a lot. This runs about 110 bucks. It is a great starter kit. And if you have like kids or teens or even young adults who are interested in electronics, or you kind of want to teach them how basic circuits work, this is a great tool for it. So starter kit, it's a little over 100 bucks. You can see right here, it says level beginner. So this isn't like super advanced. You don't need to know a ton about components and things before you start. They'll teach you how to do this in this kit. So from the unboxing of this, we're actually going to take a knife here. So goodness gracious, I knocked over my phone. So I'm going to go ahead and unbox that as I possibly almost cut myself there. And we're going to just open that. So now that that is open, we will go ahead and take this here and we'll open this box up. And what I'll do is I'll bring this over to show you exactly what's in the box and we'll walk through it. So here is the project book. The project book is essentially like a starter for Arduino. So this is one of the things that is very nice about the starter kit versus just buying an Uno by itself, is they bring you through different kinds of projects. So if we were to, dig in here, it will show you like the breadboard, it will show you the Arduino, and it will show you how to do the connections and how to do different types of things with the project. So this is a fairly thick book with lots of different things you can do from a starter kit, and this really gets your hands dirty with Arduino here. So the next thing in here is this little box here, and we have, I'm just trying to keep this open. We have this Arduino. Thank you for choosing Arduino. And then if we were to take this out and just kind of pop that box up a little bit, it comes with a bunch of different boxes inside. So if you can see here, it is, let me see if I can just, cool, I can just slide that out. My thumb's in the way, sorry about that. It comes with a bunch of different things in the box. So you've got your servo motor, your liquid crystal display, so LCD, your breadboard. So this comes with, I already have a breadboard here, you can see, but this comes with a breadboard. So it will, it really comes with everything that you need, even if you're like just starting out. Kick electronic components, so resistors, capacitors, things like that, USB cables, and whatnot. So very, very cool. It also comes with, like, if you were to move these boxes from inside the box, so which will just take that servo motor out, the LCD out. It comes with different things that are part of different projects for Arduino. So like a servo motor can spin something, it'll be more applicable. And if you were to kind of open one of these boxes, and here, I will put this back over here and open one of these boxes for us. But we'll go ahead and take a look at this. For instance, this is that component box that I talked about. If you take a look in here, and this is that component box, I'll show you here. So lots of different components in there, and I'll do a little showing there. So you'll have like pins, you'll have your resistors, your capacitors, your LEDs. I think there are some integrated circuit chips in here too. So like the timers and things like that, it'll teach you how to use those, which is kind of cool. The other thing here is there's actually like some plastic pieces, so that's kind of cool. So we'll put that back. The servo motor, it's fairly small, but if you open it up, we'll just kind of do that here. You can see it's a pretty standard servo motor. So you have your your plus and your minus here. So your positive and your neutral, or sorry, positive and ground, which will come in handy in a bunch of different ways. You also have a different motor here. It's just slightly different. So there are two separate motors in here. And then from our perspective, there should be, I don't know if this comes with, it's called a stepper motor driver. But when you're dealing with electronics, a stepper motor driver essentially provides like a separate input for electricity besides the board. So when you're running longer, not longer, but like bigger motors, you want to use a stepper driver because you can send voltage separate from the board there. From the jumper wires, I actually have on Amazon. I bought this. This is a jumper wire kit. It only cost you a few dollars, but this kit, because it's for beginners, actually comes with a jumper wire kit, and you can see like, hey, it comes with a breadboard. It comes with a bunch of jumper wires. So when you're doing those projects, it's super easy. So there's that. And we'll put that back in the box. This is that breadboard and jumper wires. The other thing that it does come with is the LCD, which we'll put this back in the box just to make everything kind of nice and neat. And you can see the box on the side, the starter kit as is on the screen. And we'll do just a little bit of Jenga going on here. So we're going to do servo motors, which I think, let me do this here. We'll put that back in a second. There is this LCD screen, so if you wanted to connect to some kind of external display, this is super handy. So if we take a look at that, this is just a display here. Now, I already have one of these. This is, so this is slightly different than the one I have. So this is an LCD, but this is a Grove LCD backlit. Grove is just a little bit different. They kind of pin everything for you versus having to do it yourself. If you see this kind of in the back, there's a bunch of pins here. So slightly different than the Grove, but it's good to learn how to pin this out without Grove, so that you kind of understand some of those core concepts. Awesome. So, I forgot to put something back in the box here. So we're just going to pop this open. We're going to put this back in. And we're going to just close that up here. And we'll put this back in the box. And I'll fit everything nicely in there in a bit. This is the actual, so it's an Uno R3. So this is revision lower than this Q. And I'll talk a little bit about the difference here in a second. But the R3 is 32 kilobytes flash memory, 2 kilobytes of SRAM, 1 kilobyte of EEPROM, and then it's 7 to 12 volt input and 5 volt USB. So the board is fairly, it looks a little scary, but it's not really all that scary. It comes with the USB, the power, so you can actually power this up via a little port right there. I think you could power via USB, but I'd have to look. And then when we're dealing with peripherals in the terms of like inputs and I don't want to call them peripherals, but like inputs and outputs, like sensors and outputs. A sensor would be like a light sensor, and an output could be an LED light. So you'll see that right there. That's the Uno R3. Lots of different pins. The other thing that you can get for these, so if you wanted to expand upon the pins, are something called, they're like carriers or expansions. And you'll see this, we actually have this here. I'm going to just unplug. I have a motor plugged into this other one here. So this is a Maker Wi-Fi. And as part of this Maker Wi-Fi, the board here is like a little bit smaller. And then it's on a carrier so that the Grove plugins can kind of go in where they need to go. They also have like larger expansions for different boards. So you can always expand. You're not limited here to just these pins. And you're not limited to whatever's on this board either, right? So if you wanted to add, if it didn't come with Wi-Fi and you wanted to add Wi-Fi, you could do that, things like that. So that's the board. Just kind of putting this all back in place. We're going to just pop this in. And we'll drop this in. And it comes in this nice kit here. So we're just going to kind of organize everything with the motors. Let's see here. Trying to get things somewhat organized here. So I think I know what I need to do. Maybe. This is playing a little bit of Jenga, so bear with me here. But I think we want, so this is here. And then we want to put this here, and this motor would go somewhere in, so the LCD is here, and then the motor goes on that right-hand side. Okay, awesome. Well, playing a little bit of Jenga, as you can see here, to kind of try to put everything back in the box. We don't necessarily need to put that back in the box because we'll go ahead and pull some of that out anyways. But that is most of it. The other thing that they give you too is this USB cable. So to plug into the actual computer and program with the Arduino board, with the program the Arduino board with the Arduino software. There we are here. This is a cable to plug right into that board. Super easy to get started. This guide will take you through, the project book will take you through like any of those kind of like starting, like lighting an LED, all of that kind of stuff, and then you'll incorporate that into like a larger project. Cool. So that right now is the starter kit. And I think we just put this back for now. We can move this out of the way just temporarily. So this is all opened. And then we'll put this book here. Actually, I'm going to keep this book out because I'm probably going to go ahead and read that later. The other two boards that we got, one of them is a brand new board, and I believe the Q comes with Linux on it, which is kind of interesting. So traditionally, the Arduino has been programmed in C++. For the majority of things, C++ is actually pretty simple when it comes to Arduinos. You know, you set inputs and outputs and do a few if loops here. So if you have any kind of programming background, it's not horribly difficult. I mean, you're not writing enterprise grade software on these. It's, you know, you're writing maybe 100 lines max. If we were to pull up the spec sheet, I'm just going to pull this up here. 1 second. Let me do iPhone. And we will go here. So I'm just going to go capture card device, and we're going to add existing in Logi. So I'm just going to do some things here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pop this over, and we will go over to the website and kind of walk through the specs of this queue. So if we go to products and we go to Uno Q, which is one of their newer models, is a hybrid brain architecture that merges real-time control with powerful Linux processor. Okay, that doesn't really tell me much, but essentially this is taking the Arduino concept, so building out using Arduino C, and then layering Linux on top of it. So you can go either way, right? So what's nice about this is I can use Linux behind the scenes with like MicroPython instead of having to write in C++. So if I'm familiar with Python, or I wanted to use TinyML to do predictions based on sensor inputs, which is a real use case, right? You could do that with this. So it's a little bit more advanced. It's fairly clean to do. It wasn't fairly clean to do it that way before. You'd have to like make API calls out to an existing ML model somewhere. We don't have to do that with this board. We can essentially just run it as is. And this one here, I think, is a 4 gig. So this is the larger size Linux system. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of Raspberry Pi. So if we pop this open, just gonna pop it and go here. I probably put a knife down before I ended up cutting myself. That would be interesting for a live stream, wouldn't it? And we will. Cool. Awesome. So we're able to get the box open. We'll go ahead and pull this out. This is the Q. And when you're dealing with these boards, especially a board like this, it comes in a seal like this. This is anti-static. And what it does is it prevents like electricity from frying the board, so static from frying the board. If we were to take this out of its little canister here, which I should touch some metal or something before I touch this, so that way I don't shock. But what we'll do is we'll take this out of its carrier here, or its bag here, and you can see that this is a little bit different than the other Uno, and we can show you that up close. It has the LED lights here. I think that's kind of a gimmick. I don't think that's necessary, but you know, it is what it is. You can also see the Qualcomm processor on here. I think it's got two. It's got a larger one and a smaller one. So there's that. And it's got the same pin setup as like the other Arduino that we had before. So the Rev 3. So there's that. So we'll put this back in its little case right now. You can see that here. We'll pop this in. The last two items that we have are the Professional Series and they're the Arduino Pro. So if you've ever seen these, this is we'll go to this product real quick. This is the Portena. These run about $113 and they're highly expandable. So the X8 is a little bit more powerful, but this one is, the H7, the H7 here. So it's not H7 Lite, but H7 Revision 2. You can get expansion boards for this. So if you wanted to expand into like a larger amount of pins or Ethernet capability, things like that, you're able to do so. So it's pretty simple. We'll go ahead and take our handy dandy knife here and we'll just cut that on both sides. This is Wi-Fi and Ethernet enabled. It's got Bluetooth low energy, 8 megabytes of SD RAM, 16 megabytes of flash, an STM32H747 dual core processor with graphics engine on board, a 480 megahertz clock, which is pretty fast for an Arduino. And this is actually pretty nice because it allows you to do some local processing. So if you had like a light ML model, you could do image processing with this. So we'll take this out of its case here. If you open it up, it's just, there's a lot of room in here. And we were to just kind of open this. Let's do here. And I am lazy, so I'm going to take my nice little knife here and I'm just going to pop that. Awesome. So from here, you can see this is a very, very small board, especially compared to the other one, but it is very powerful, right? So Pro Series, you can fit this. The nice thing about this being small is you can fit it in like tighter spaces and like more industrial type environments. So you're not like, you don't have this big hunk on your desk trying to measure whatever it is you're trying to measure. This also works with a lot of other tooling like industrial style. If we were to go back, I think we can do like, you can connect like a Portena machine control and do like high level like industrial machines in factory control from this, which is nice, right? So really, really handy, fantastic tool for more industrial grade solutions. This is probably the most expensive one here, but it is also the most powerful. So there's that as well. So we'll put this back in its bag here. And you'll notice one other thing before I put it away. This is actually USB-C for power. So it is pretty slick. It's nice. You can also power it from the lines beneath. I'd actually have to look at what the pinout is for that. But there is essentially, there's a pinout that will tell you exactly what voltage and where you can apply power, all that kind of stuff. So very, very cool stuff there. Let's see here too, I think. Perfect. Okay, awesome. The other thing that I have here is Nikola Sense, which is an add-on to the Arduino Pro. And this is specifically to measure air quality. And this comes in handy, especially in industrial environments where the air quality might not be great inside of factories, and you want to monitor that, right? And from that, you can do some really cool stuff. You can turn on relays to turn on fans to pull things out of the factory in terms of like air to increase air quality. Whatever you need to do, you can do here. This is the cheaper one, so this is the E and V. It's slightly cheaper than the other one, and I think yeah. So this is permanent or permastat static bag. So you can see here if we pull this out, this chip is also on the smaller side, so it fits right here. It does a ton of different measurements. If we were to actually go and take a look at some of these tools here, I think so. Products, Portena, and if we were to, let's see if we can do the light, and it'll bring me to H7 lights. So they have a vision shield. So this is another one you can do. The other one is, yes, this is a vision shield. Let me do products and shields and carriers. And I think if I were to, yeah, so you can do pretty cool stuff with display shields, vision shields, with LoRa. Some of these work with other things, so thermal shield, which is kind of cool. I think this other one, yeah, this is the Max Carrier, which has a lot going on there, which is pretty cool. That is a very expensive add-on, though. $340 is a little crazy. So the mid-tier carrier. Anyways, so the one that we got here, I'll just type it in. It's Sense ENV Portia. I think I got it. There we go. So you can see this. This is about $40. It measures its climate control system applications for climate control systems, integrate into HVAC systems, monitor regular air quality, humidity, and temperature. So if I wanted to, for instance, turn on a humidifier if things got too dry, or turn on a dehumidifier if it got, if the humidity was crazy, depending on what's going on, or the temperature was too high and I wanted to turn on the air conditioner, whatever it is, you can integrate that into your climate control system. You can pretty much automate all of that. So pretty cool stuff that you can do with this. You also have the ability to do, like, again, that air quality concept that I talked. It doesn't have to just be HVAC. It can also be more along the lines of like, hey, I just want my home to be like have good air quality, or I want the factory floor to have better air quality, whatever it is. So that is all I have today. I guess that's a lot of Arduino, but thank you for joining me, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.